All right, so today we are going to, you guys are going to simplify radicals. And the first thing here says list the perfect squares up to 15 below. And this is something you can use your calculators for. It's very helpful. So we got 1 squared, it's 1, 2 squared, 4, 3 squared, 9. You can just hit the square button on your calculator to keep getting these. Now, these numbers are going to be very important for the day. They're going to help us simplify radicals, which simplifying radicals, that is something you did last year. So it's going to be a little bit of a review because at times we may need to simplify radicals in this next unit. 8 squared, 64. And you can keep going. I'm kind of running out of room, but that's all right. So all the way up to 15 squared are really going to be the important ones. So I got 3 steps for you to simplify radicals. Step number 1 is to determine the largest perfect square that is a multiple of the number. Hey, what are perfect squares? Those are the numbers we're writing. 1, 4, 9, 16, 25, 36, 49, 64, 81, 100, 121, 144, 169, 196, 225 are all perfect squares. Those are the important numbers. Step 2, take the square root of the perfect square, leaving the non-perfect square inside the radical. Then step 3, multiply the square root by the coefficient if, let's do that in capitals too, if there is one. There doesn't have to be one. So depending on the question, you might not need step 3. All right, so let's go to an example. All right, so example, we got the square root of 32. So the first thing we need to do is think of 2 numbers that multiply to 32. One of them's a perfect square. So, perfect squares. Well, we got to look at all the numbers less than 32. So that's 25. 25 times what's 32? Is that a whole number? No, it's not. Then I go to my next one. 16. 16 times 2 gets me to 32. Now, how did I pick 16? That's a perfect square. That's 4 squared. So these 2 numbers multiply to 32, and one's a perfect square. That's step 1. Step 2, take the square root of the perfect square. What's my perfect square? That's this 16. I'm going to take the square root of it. So the square root of 16 is 4. The radical's still there, and the 2's underneath it. And I can't go any farther. So this one's done. All right, slide to our next one. We got 3 radical 75. So this 3 is going to stay out in front. And I got to think of 2 numbers that multiply to 75, and one's a perfect square. So let's see. 64, nope. 49, no. 36, no. Oh, 25. 25 times what gets me to 75? Oh, 25 times 3. So 25 times 3 is 75. The reason 64 or any number before that didn't work is if you do in your calculator, for example, I'll do it right now, 75 divided by 64, I get a decimal of 1.171875. I don't want decimals, I want whole numbers. So the first largest one is that 25. All right, so now I take the square root of the 25. This 3 is still out there. But I'm going to put a multiplication between the 3 and whatever the square root of 25 is, which that is 5. And my other 3 is still under here. So then I do 3 times 5 next, and that's 15. So this simplified is 15 radical 3. All right, let's scroll to the bottom. All right, so let's do this last one first because I want to show you guys something. All right, so 3 radical 48. So step 1, 3 radical, 2 numbers that multiply to 48. Oh, I'm going to pick 4 and 12. Those work. So now I'm going to take the square root of that. So I got 2 times 3 is radical 12. And I got 6 radical 12. And I think, oh, maybe that's simplified all the way. But guess what? It's not. So even if you don't pick the largest one to start with, you can potentially still simplify. So look, 12 is also 4 times 3. And you can take the square root of 4. So this is 2 times 6 radical 3. So this is 12 radical 3. So look, if you don't take the largest perfect square right away, you can keep going. So what does that mean? Well, look, if I took a different number to start with, so if instead I took, let's see, if I did 16 first instead of that 4, then I would be done faster. I get 12 radical 3. So I get the same answer in less steps because I picked the largest perfect square. If you don't pick the largest one, well, then you might have some more steps to yourself. All right? Why did I show you this? Well, here's the reason why. You have a Delta Math assignment to work on. It's called What's this called? I titled it Simplifying Radicals. All right, and here's what the questions look like. Something like this. 2 radical 88. You have to simplify this. Now, what happens if you don't pick the largest one right away? So, for example, in this one, something that simplifies is 472. I hit the try button, and it brings me to the next step. And I hit try again. And look, this comes up. What that means is you didn't pick the largest perfect square right away. All right, so your Delta Math assignment it's called guided at the top, because if you don't pick the largest perfect square, it's going to make you keep going. All right, where let me show you a different one, like this one, 80. What is this? All right, so the largest one for this one, see, it takes some time. I got 16 and 5 multiplied to 80. So I'm going to try that. And then I take the square root of that, which is 4, 5. I hit try, and you get the submit answer. So you're all set. All right. So 2 possible things could happen after you choose your first set. It could simplify all the way, and then you just hit submit right away, and you're good. Or you might go a longer route, but will still get there. So if you do check that show example, you're going to see a fastest path and a slowest path. All right. You have 12 of these to practice. All right. You got to get 12 done. If you would like some more practice before going on to those, let me give you the answers to these 3. All right. So if you'd like practice on these, your answers are going to be 2 radical 15 for that first one. The next one will be 12 radical 5. And this one will be 2 radical 5. All right, so if you want practice with those, you can try those first and then go to the Delta Math. Your homework, remember your CR is due tomorrow. And then you don't have video to watch, just try and get that Delta Math done. If you don't finish up in class, I'd suggest trying to get it done tonight. All right, see you guys tomorrow.